Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. Tonight, we're doing our start sit on a Thursday evening here. We got a football game coming up in a roughly 40 or 50 minutes, so we're going to just hang out. We'll look at some news. We'll talk about, try to get to all the games that we got going on this weekend. I'm going to hop into a screen share right now and show you guys what's on the fantasyfellowship.com. Lots of good stuff on there. We'll look at the start sits, and I don't know, we'll answer a lot of questions from the chat room, I'm sure. Tonight's game should be a pretty interesting game here. We got Tampa Bay at Philadelphia. I think as far as this one goes, you're trying to get pretty much anybody on Tampa Bay in your lineups. I know Tom Brady's got a hand injury, but I like Godwin, Evans, Antonio Brown. Leonard Fournette seems to be trending towards a rock-solid running back 2 right now. And if he starts scoring touchdowns, he's looking like a running back 1 at the moment right now. Just really no threat from Ronald Jones, Giovanni Bernard maybe in the passing game. So I like the Tampa Bay side in this one tonight. Probably worth starting Tampa Bay's defense. I know we've been picking on them, but Jalen Hurts does sometimes tend to rack up turnovers in bunches at times. But you're still starting Jalen Hurts in this one with Dallas Goedert out. Zach Ertz is probably going to have a good evening tonight. Devonta Smith probably going to have a good evening tonight. And yeah, it's feeling like this is going to be a good fantasy game for everybody tonight. So hopefully you guys get all your players in. If you guys have questions, let me know. And we're taking Bucks money line and Bucks -7. I think it's going to end up being like a 1-score game. Like right in that 7 to 8 spot feels good. Just Jalen Hurts, like they have like a don't quit kind of thing about their team, or even if they're down, 2 or 3 scores, they're still going to be putting up a fight in the fourth quarter. That's just how their games have been. Godwin has injuries. Godwin, I think, is going to be okay. I'm not too concerned here. He was able to practice and everything turned out just fine. In fact, I wanted to pull up the practice reports in this one. Let me take a look and see what we got. There's a handful of news and things I want to cover for sure too. Let me pull up the practice reports real quick. Click on Tampa Bay. So Godwin, I mean, he got a full practice in on Wednesday. I'm not too concerned about Chris Godwin at the moment right now. And then the good news is he's going to have an extra 10 days to heal up for next week, so he's going to be just fine. 10-team PPR flex, Jonathan Taylor, Jacobs. You're going Jonathan Taylor probably. Jonathan Taylor against Houston probably seems to make the most sense. Otherwise, I'm trying to get it's hard to not play Mike Williams at this point. So those are the 2 options for me. I think JT is safe, though, against Houston. Teddy for sale, looking for flexes. Quarterbacks, man, super flex. But I did want to get to cover some of these games tonight. We got a London game. We got a fun London game this Sunday morning here. Miami at Jacksonville. I don't know how exciting this is for fantasy. It looks like Tua Tagovailoa is on track to play in this one, though, so that's going to help boost some numbers here for whether it's Gaskin, Gesicki, Jalen Waddle, who I think is an interesting flex play. And then with Devonte Parker's, he's got an injury right now. I don't know if he practice today. Let me see if Devonte Parker, I think he was out. Yeah, so he's trending towards not playing. Again, they have to travel, I think, either tomorrow or Saturday morning. So I'm probably not going to trust Devonte Parker to play in this one. So Jalen Waddle, again, he's kind of the lone standing receiver. Otherwise, Preston Williams is a guy that's worth monitoring. As we know, Will Fuller's got a handful of injuries right now. But for the Jacksonville side, it's really James Robinson. J-Rob, he's really the only thing that's making sense, from the whole game, really. Any player in this game, it's James Robinson that looks to be the best. And if I show you guys the fantasy points allowed here, let me just zoom in here. Fantasy points allowed, the Dolphins they got destroyed by Tampa Bay last week, so that's why they're probably number 1 in points allowed. But they allow a lot of running back points. I think that's first, the highest in the league for running backs. So James Robinson is looking like a really good running back 1 this week, probably a top 5, top 10 threat. So I love James Robinson. Tua and Trevor Lawrence are just quarterback 2s for Superflex. I think Dan Arnold should have been scooped up on waiver wires this week. And then LaVisca and Marvin Jones, it's still hard to trust when you got guys like Tavon Austin and Jamal Agnew racking up targets last week. So I'm nervous about LaVisca and Marvin Jones, but I'm not going to be surprised if they had good games. But overall, this one, I'm not excited to be involved in it. Just James Robinson's really the only must play. So we'll move on to Green Bay, Chicago. Let me get caught up here. Yeah, good game, man. My team's I'm in trouble with Russell Wilson out. I got to figure out some stuff. Woods or AB PPR. Robert Woods or Antonio Brown. Man, so in questions like these, I mean, like you want to get Antonio Brown in your lineups if you have him. I guess if you're playing in 10-man leagues, that's kind of where, some tough questions begin to happen where like we almost have too many options, right? But Robert Woods, he's only really competing with Cooper Kupp for targets. Antonio does have to compete with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and it's hard to predict this Tampa Bay offense because really it could be a Godwin night, it could be an Evans night, or an Antonio Brown night. So like it would suck to miss out on that. But Robert Woods, he's only really got to compete with Cooper Kupp for targets, so it's an easier target share for Robert Woods to achieve success this weekend. It's the Giants. Again, Tom Brady's got the hand thing. So I think I'm going to lean with Robert Woods in this one. I can bench Chase for Williams. I don't know which Williams. There's too many Williams. Yeah, James Robinson's looking pretty good. And the Tyreek Hill news, we got it's so hard to say, especially like when you have a player of Tyreek Hill's caliber, who's a player that really doesn't need to practice to play. So if he gets a limited in tomorrow, like tomorrow's the big day. If he can get a limited practice in tomorrow, he's likely to play. They need him to play. They don't want to be 2-4. So I'm thinking like I don't want to overspeak. We have to basically wait for tomorrow and see. It's still 50-50 at this point. Damian Williams is not playing. That was the big news today. Where is it? Is it on here? Where is the Damian Williams news? Let me click on running back here. So Damian Williams was put on the COVID list this morning, or this earlier this afternoon. So no Damian Williams in this one. So you need 2 wide receivers and a flex. So we're just going to cross Damian Williams off here. 2 receivers to go with. I'm going to go with Lamb Deontay, and then I'll go Gibson at the flex. 10-team PPR, pick 2. Godwin, Woods, Boyd, Laviska, Shep, and Landry. I'm probably going Godwin and Woods with that one. KC, D-Will. Okay, my bad. With that one makes it interesting. I think I for sure like Tyler Boyd the least. He's probably my least favorite one of the group. For the receivers, I mean, that one's easy. You're going to go with Lamb and Deontay, and then at flex, I'm probably going to lean with Antonio Gibson. If we look at the fantasy points allowed to running backs real quick, Washington, that's quarterbacks. Washington's pretty stingy against the running backs here. They only allow about 18.48. Teams like to pass on them. Whereas Kansas City is up here. They've given up 6 touchdowns so far to running backs this year. So I'm probably going to lean with Antonio Gibson. 10-team PPR, pick 2, Godwin, Woods, Boyd. We already covered that. Godwin and Woods, yep. And then is Landry playing? I don't think Landry is going to play this week. He did not practice today, if I recall correctly. Let me see here. Where is Jarvis? He's not even on the injury report because he's not even activated yet. So I'm leaning towards Landry not being of use this weekend. And then it's either Godwin or Jacoby Myers. Yeah, I'm still going Chris Godwin. I think Godwin's a must start at this point. AB or Boyd, non-PPR. Give me Antonio Brown. Especially so when it comes to non-PPR or standard league questions, I'm going to go with the guy that I think has the best chance to score a touchdown. That's going to be Antonio Brown, Mike Williams, or Chase. I'm not sitting Mike Williams at this point. Even for a guy like Chase, I know Chase has a really good matchup against the Lions this weekend, but Mike Williams, like we've seen. I don't know if Chase has put up any 30-point games, but Mike Williams he's the number 1 or number 2 receiver depending on your scoring format. So I'm going to use Mike Williams. No Zion for 2 weeks. Dang it. J. Will, D. Will, KC, McKinnon, AB, Myers need 2 RB and a flex. Also Michelle and Josh Gordon. LOL. So we need 2 running backs. I'm going to use Daryl Williams in that one. That one makes the most sense to me. J. Will, is that Jamal Williams? I'm assuming that's Jamal Williams. I don't know who the other J. Will would be. Michelle's interesting. I don't know if I feel comfortable about the volume. So if it's PPR, I guess I like Jamal and Damien or Daryl Williams. And then for the last flex here, I'll go AB. I like Jacoby Myers, but I'd rather be attached to Tom Brady than Mac Jones. So I'm going to go with the ceiling. And fun stat, Jacoby Myers has never scored a career touchdown before. So I'm going to go with AB. Herb be live or what? Herb, I don't know what that means. Herb be live or what? Have a good night, Tim. Good luck tonight. And yeah, the Damian Williams news is interesting. I think if Khalil Herbert's still on your waiver wire, you guys gotta run, don't walk. He's likely gonna get 20 plus touches this weekend, so I really like the opportunity for Khalil Herbert this week. He's going to be. It's against the Packers. Technically, the Packers' run defense is here. Let me actually pull that up. The Packers' run defense is middle of the road. I mean, they allowed the majority of damage week 1 against Alvin Kamara, but about 25 PPR points per game here. And again, if that's 80 to 90% Khalil Herbert, you're looking at maybe 20 fantasy points here. So I really like Khalil. 10-team PPR running back. TPR running back 2. Hunt, Mixon, Edwards. I need to pick 2. I'm going Mixon and Hunt. If you need to pick 2, or I guess I'll just rank them for you. I'm going Mixon number 1, and then I'll go Hunt and then Edmonds. But let me get kind of back to some of these start sits here. We just covered Miami, Jacksonville. The Packers game's really simple. Like Rodgers, Jones, and Devonte Adams are must starts. I think really the only guy you're going to trust on Chicago is going to be Khalil Herbert. If you have Allen Robinson, I'm not excited to get my 7 points out of Allen Robinson right now. Let me see why not both Chase and Mike Will. That's yeah. If we can get Jamar Chase and Mike Williams in the lineup, but I think that's either an 8 or a 10-man league. So that's the trouble with 10-man leagues is the decision making gets dicey. But we got Cincinnati at Detroit. The Bengals are favored to win here on the road. Joe Burrow could be a quarterback 1 this week. It sounds like Samaje Perine's not going to be able to clear COVID protocol, so this is lining up really nicely for a Joe Mixon game. I really like him as maybe the best scorer of this one. You're trying to get Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in your lineups if you can. But Tyler Boyd's probably the one guy I'm not super excited about. I almost need to see him thrive before I trust it. Like we've seen a couple games where Chase, Higgins, and Boyd have all been together, and Boyd really hasn't played well when Higgins is on the field. So it's Chase and Higgins. Uzama, Tyler Boyd are more question marks at this point of the season. On Detroit's side, DeAndre Swift's going to probably bang. He's probably a top 5, top 10 running back. I'm going to go back to the well with TJ Hawkinson. He was dinged up last week. I know defenses are focusing in on him, but he was dinged up and he didn't really practice much at all last week. I think he's a little bit healthier now. And it's a good matchup against Cincinnati. So really, Swift and Hawkinson are the only must-starts for the Lions. I do think Amon-Ra St. Brown is an interesting guy that you should probably pick up if he's on your waivers. And then Jamal Williams is a interesting running back to flex depending on your needs. But let me get to some of these questions over here. Javonte Williams. Okay, yeah. So in that question from earlier, I'm going Javonte and Daryl as my 2 running backs, and then I'm still going to go AB as the flex. Flex a running back. Flex McKinnon or Michelle. It feels like that's too low of a floor. I'd rather go for the ceiling of Antonio Brown, who we just saw go over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. I think that's where I'm headed. AD or C? AB or Chase, non-PPR? In that one, I'm probably going to lean with Jamar Chase, just again because it's the Lions, and Chase has just been on a touchdown binge the last, I guess, to start his career. So I'm gonna roll with Chase in that one. 10-team PPR flex. Moore. I'm assuming that's DJ Moore, Kareem Hunt, Laviska, Shep. I'm going with DJ Moore if that's the Moore that we're talking about here. DJ Moore all the way. Houston and the Colts. Like I'm hoping you guys were able to scoop up the Colts defense to stream. That's a beauty spot. That's probably the must start in this whole game. Brandon Cooks is barely a wide receiver 3 flex. He really disappointed us last week, so he makes us a little uneasy now to leave him in our lineups. But the Colts side, man, they played really, really well last week against Baltimore. I think they're going to come out and make sure they dominate in this one. Carson Wentz is a fringe quarterback 1 this week. He looks best as a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues, but I like what Wentz has been doing. He carved up the Ravens last week for over 400 passing yards and a couple touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, probably a smash play in DFS this week as a top 5 running back. And then Pittman Jr., Michael Pittman Jr. has been playing extremely well this year in his second season. Mo Ali Cox, maybe a guy that you could stream as a tight end. And then just some questions for Paris Campbell and Naheem Hines. I don't feel great about them, but I think I could see them having a nice day against the lowly Texans here. Would you drop Damian Williams for Daryl Williams or Herbert? I think so. So even like when Damian Williams comes back next week, he's going to be in a split backfield with Khalil Herbert. That's the way it was last week. Khalil Herbert, I think, is going to limit Damian's upside. So, like, the easiest answer would probably take Daryl Williams. But, yeah, I'm dropping Damien for one of those 2 guys for sure. Rams and the Giants. This one's going to be a fun game. Rams are so easy to diagnose. Like, they have the easiest fantasy structure and advice that I could give here. You're starting Stafford in QB1 leagues. You're starting Henderson as a running back 2 with running back 1 upside. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. I'm trying to get these guys in my lineup. I love Robert Woods, man. Like, he was due for a game like that. I think he's back in our good graces as a wide receiver 2-3 for you guys. Again, you'd probably drafted him in the 3rd or 4th round. Continue to rely on Robert Woods and just understand that, okay, sometimes it's going to be a Kupp game, sometimes it's going to be a Wood game. Really depends on how the coverage rolls. But I'm trying to get both guys in my lineups. And then you get Tyler Higbee here as a fringe tight end 1 flex. Go ahead and start the Rams defense. Daniel Jones is on track to play. Just a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues. The Rams actually, let's take a look and see. They are, where are they? The Rams are middle of the road against quarterback. They have allowed 2 rushing touchdowns, 6 touchdowns passing, and then 5 interceptions. So, like, they're going to be stingy. Daniel Jones might turn the ball over, but there's a good chance that he racks up some points along the way. Devonte Booker was a waiver wire pickup this week. I don't feel great about it, but he's going to get the volume. And one of my main things is volume is king. You're going to want to fall into that. If he gets the ball 20 times, he's probably going to have double-digit PPR points. So Devonte Booker, I'm trying to get him in my lineups. And then it looks like Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, and Darius Slayton are all going to play. They've been practicing in limited capacity the last 2 days. And then you get Kenny Golladay, who's I think has already been ruled out. So this is, man, like Kadarius Toney is probably one of the most exciting players in the league right now. I think he could be a guy that could potentially just be a game changer for fantasy football. If they continue to get him the ball at the clip that they've been doing the last 2 games, we got something really, really good with Kadarius Toney. I just hope he can stay healthy and not punch anybody and make any dumb mistakes. But Shepard, Toney, I'm trying to get these guys in my lineups, and then Evan Ingram, a fringe tight end 1 in this one here. 18 PPR flex. Jefferson, oh my God. These questions are so hard, man. 18 leagues are very difficult. I don't like these flex calls. It's Jefferson or Swift. I'm going to go with Jefferson. Actually, I'm probably going to go with Swift. Swift's got the highest floor in PPR leagues, but Jefferson's been nice. It's between those 2. I'd probably go with Jefferson. Trying to fit in both people. Yeah, I'm going to roll with Javonte, Daryl, and then I really liked Antonio Brown in that one. Booker, this one's easy. It's Booker. I think Dalvin Cook practiced in full today, so he's like fully on track to play this weekend. So we're going to cross Madison off our list. Hold on to Madison. Don't let him go. The Vikings do have a bye week next week, but man, if anything happens to Cook again, we know that Madison equals a top 10 running back when Cook is out. So probably Booker this week. And yeah, the Colts D, the Chargers defense, man. I'm sorry if I recommended the Chargers defense to you last week. Putting Marlon Mack. I don't love it. It probably saves you a ton of money and you're able to do some crazy things, but I don't know if I trust it. I'd almost rather just get Jonathan Taylor if you're going to go that route. But anyways, the Giants and the Rams. We'll move on to the Chiefs and the Washington football team. This is going to be the highest scoring game of the week. You want to break ties in favor of this game. For Washington, I think Taylor Heineke's a fringe quarterback 1 this week in 10 and 12-man leagues. He's great as a QB2 for Superflex leagues. Gibson, a running back, a top 10, top 15 running back at worst. McLaurin, probably a top 10 wide receiver. Ricky Seals-Jones. If you guys need tight end help, that's the guy you should probably go look at. He's filling in nicely for Logan Thomas. And then you got J.D. McKissick and Adam Humphries as kind of just like PPR flex plays. If we're expecting, again, this is the highest scoring game implied of the week at 55.5. So there's going to be points. The Washington football team is going to need to throw the ball. So McKissick and Humphries are just guys that interest me, especially since Curtis Samuel's probably not going to play in this one. And then on the Chiefs side, Mahomes, of course, he's probably the QB1 this week. Daryl Williams, PPR leagues, he's a running back 2, probably even a running back 2 in standard or half PPR leagues. Tyreek Hill, we have to monitor Tyreek Hill's practice reports tomorrow. He did not practice the last 2 days. If he does not practice tomorrow, I'm still not going to rule him out. He doesn't need to practice, really. He just needs to get some warm-ups in. So we have to monitor this. This might be a game-time decision leading up to Sunday. Travis Kelce, yes. Mecole Hardman. I'm probably trying to get Mecole Hardman in my lineup. I know that's a hard thing to do sometimes. It really depends on your flex options or your wide receiver 3 options. But Hardman, especially with a dinged up Tyreek Hill, I think that's an interesting proposition. He looked good last week. Say no to these defenses in this one. I do like McKinnon. He's got some low-end PPR upside. I could see him having a couple nice big plays. Pringle, Gordon, no. Jared Patterson, just someone to keep an eye on as the next man up behind Antonio Gibson. Let me see what we got here. 10-team PPR. Daryl Williams, Carson. I'm nervous about Carson. There was some news that I saw. So he was supposed to practice today, and so here's the blurb. It's extra bad news, as Pete Carroll had claimed Carson would return on Thursday. He is now looking doubtful for Sunday's evening's game against the Steelers. So if he doesn't get a limited in tomorrow, he's probably not playing. I think Alex Collins is probably a guy that needs to be stashed on your benches. So if I'm picking 2, it's Daryl Williams and Connor right now. Do I think Adam Thielen will play? Let's pull up the wide receiver stuff here. So Justin Jefferson didn't practice, but it sounds like that's just kind of nothing. I didn't see anything from Adam Thielen. Thielen did not practice with a foot. So now I'm a little bit worried here. Both receivers not practicing. I'm hoping they're just resting their guys up. We'll see. Probably a 50-50 call. If he's limited tomorrow, that means he's trending towards playing. If he's did not practice, it's going to be a game-time decision, so we have to wait and see. You're starting Herbert. You're starting Daryl Williams and Herbert. Oh, man. Yeah, I wish I got more Kadarius Toney in my 4 or 5 big leagues that I play. I was only able to get him in. At least I got him in the most important one. But Toney just looks like a game changer at the wide receiver spot for the Giants right now. Vikings and the Carolina Panthers. So we just discussed Jefferson and Thielen. We need to watch these guys. If one or both of them are able to not play, Tyler Conklin, KJ Osborne need to be on speed dial here. Dalvin Cook's on track to play. It's probably going to be a nice heavy workload for Dalvin Cook. So the Vikings side, I have to advise caution. I can't really recommend anything right now. Carolina, Darnold, quarterback 2. I don't really want to trust him for QB1 leagues. Christian McCaffrey was downgraded today. He did not practice after being limited yesterday, which is an interesting move. I don't know if something flared up or if they're just like, okay, we got you Wednesday, take it easy today, and we'll get you in Friday. So tomorrow's a big day for Christian McCaffrey. I can't say if he's going to play or not, but you're starting DJ Moore. That's the one Panther we can rely on. I know he had a bad game last week, but you'll take your 9 points as your floor. Robbie Anderson, we might be done with Robbie Anderson. We'll see. But this Vikings-Panthers game is going to be kind of ugly if McCaffrey can't play or Jefferson or Thielen can't play. Get them both. I don't recommend. It feels like we're reaching for a touchdown there. I don't know if there's something else that we can do to save money. I can see it though. If you're feeling it, I'm not going to tell you no. If you got a good vibe on Marlon Mack, man, you got to roll with it. Pick 2, Kadarius Toney, Chris Carson crossed off the list. Connor, Shep, Renfro, Herbert. I'm going with Kadarius Toney and Khalil Herbert. Sanders, maybe Sanders here. I like Tony and Herbert. AB or Zach Moss, non-PPR. Give me Zach Moss, non-PPR. So the thing about Zach Moss is like I feel comfortable about him getting 70 to 80 yards all purpose, whether it's running or receiving. So like you're locking in those points. And then the opportunity for a touchdown against the Titans is probably pretty good. So I kind of like Zach Moss here, AB. We still really have this wide range of outcomes with Antonio Brown that I just don't know if I trust quite yet, but I'm going to lean towards Zach Moss. If you have a gut feeling for Antonio Brown, try and get him in. But the good news is they're both really good options this week. I could see both those guys performing and getting touchdowns. So trust your gut. I'm going to say Zach Moss, though. Chargers Ravens. This is probably one of the most exciting games at the noon slate here. You're starting Herbert, Eckler, Williams, Keenan Allen. I don't want to get any more questions on Mike Williams, guys. Mike Williams needs to just be left in our lineups. I don't care what size league it is. Mike Williams is performing at an elite level right now. So he's a starter. Jared Cook, Donald Parham, if you need tight end help, I can answer some questions there. And the Ravens are pretty simple too. Lamar Jackson, top 5 quarterback. Marquise Brown, trying to get him in my lineups as a wide receiver 3 or 2. Mark Andrews is back, baby. And then Watkins and Latavius Murray, like those are really the only other guys that I'd be open to flexing. I think that the Chargers have a really good pass defense here, so I'm limiting my expectations for Marquise Brown and Sammy Watkins, but anything can happen. Again, this is a high-scoring affair this week, I think, so I'm trying to get these guys in the lineups. Sunday late games, you got Arizona Cardinals and the Cleveland Browns. Kyler Murray, of course, Chase Edmonds. I know he disappointed last week, but he was dinged up with a shoulder injury. He has been practicing as far as I know. Let me double check here. So we got some limiteds in. So he's improving off of his injury from last week because I think he missed practice Wednesday and Thursday. So Chase Edmonds, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Running back 2 for PPR. DeAndre Hopkins, of course. James Conner, I trust him more in a standard league. I don't know. He doesn't really get PPR catches, so he's more of a touchdown play. And then I think Rondale Moore and Christian Kirk need some consideration after we saw what the Chargers did against the secondary last week. Probably not going to trust the defenses in this one. The Brown side, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, those are like the only must starts. Odell Beckham is frustrating as hell to own. I can see myself wanting to see him prove it on my bench before I do it in my lineup. And then Baker Mayfield's strictly just a quarterback 2 for Superflex leagues. The Raiders and the Broncos, man. I'm going to take a break and answer some questions before I get into the Raiders. Jared Cook or Zach Ertz? I have Justin Herbert on PPR. Give me Zach Ertz for sure. PPR flex. CD, Mixon, Claypool, I'm going to go Mixon. I like Joe Mixon this week. If I had to rank these guys, it's probably between Mixon, CD, and Claypool. I like Mixon just because P. Ryan's out. It's Detroit. Detroit's a funnel defense. If I show you guys the fantasy points allowed here. Detroit, where are you? Detroit ranks 16th in PPR points allowed, but they clearly, are weak here. That's the green spot against the running back, so I like that there for them. I don't know where Indy thought. What KCRB wins rest of the season. I don't think there's going to be any. I think at this point, from this point on, it's going to be a carousel because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming back in a few weeks, and when he comes back, it's going to continue to be a carousel. So I'm kind of nervous about KCRB. I think for now, the quick answer is Williams is probably a running back too, but when Clyde comes back, that's just going to complicate things. So, and then McKinnon, like if McKinnon pops off for a game or two, like it's not going to surprise me either. Pollard or Dillon, give me Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, he's got like a safe 8-point floor in PPR leagues. Whereas Dillon, I know he had a really good game last weekend, but we need to see that before we trust it. But if you're feeling Dillon, I don't mind it. The Bears defense, I guess if we're looking at defenses here, the Bears 26th against points allowed here, whereas I guess the Patriots are pretty stiff too. But it looks like they're both pretty tough. But Pollard, he for sure has a role. Dillon kind of just got the touchdown last week. So 10-team PPR, Moore, Cooks, Gaskin, Hollywood, Sanders. DJ Moore. That's the quick one here. Give me 1 minute real quick. I'll be right back, you guys. Just hold on 1 second. All right, we're back. Sorry for the. I had to pee so bad. I had to use the bathroom real quick. But anyways, fire up more questions. We can hang out for another 10, 15 minutes real quick. I want to see what game I left off on. The Raiders and the Broncos. I don't know what the Raiders are going to look like this week. It's going to be an interesting little test here. Carr and Teddy Bridgewater are just quarterback twos for me. This week, I can see Josh Jacobs getting a lot of volume in this one, running back two. I think you're trying to get Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick in your lineups this week. The Raiders defense does not scare me, so I like Sutton and Patrick. I think if you have Noah Fant, you're going to continue to use him as a tight end. He's not really a streamer. He's a fringe top 5, top 10 tight end. He just needs a role in the touchdowns. Darren Waller, of course, for flex plays. Devonte Williams is a low end running back too. He's been consistent, like 8 to 10 points. Like that's kind of his sweet spot. Melvin Gordon, I'm not excited about, but he's been productive. Renfro, in PPR leagues, I like Hunter Renfro. He's been double digits 5 straight games. And then Henry Ruggs, just because I'm remembering Deontay Johnson get deep on this team last week. So it won't surprise me if Henry Ruggs has a good game. But interesting game. Raiders are 3-2 after starting 3-0, and the Broncos are 3-2 after starting 3-0. So interesting dynamic to that game there. No, man, no worries. So I like McKinnon. McKinnon, it really depends. Like if you're in a 12-man league, that's where McKinnon starts to look interesting because you have to kind of ask yourself, like, if I'm gonna start McKinnon, I'm hoping he gets minimum 7 to 8 points. And then if he starts getting some carries involved too. Like he was pretty good for San Francisco last year. He had some good moments. They just, I think San Francisco kind of learned the hard way that you can't give him a ton of touches. Otherwise he's not going to stay fresh. So I like McKinnon. He's a guy that I want to add in 12-man leagues to the end of my bench for PPR league. So, and that's kind of why I'm nervous about Daryl Williams and just like the whole KC backfield to begin with. I think we're gonna be able to see Daryl Williams play well. We're gonna see McKinnon play well, and then when Clyde comes back, like they just have this 3-way committee here that's gonna be not so fun for fantasy. So I'm interested there. I think if I picked up Daryl Williams, I might be trying to flip him. Wait to see what happens this Sunday, but if he pops off, I might try to flip Daryl Williams. 10-team PPR, Flex, Boyd, Shep, Pittman, Renfro, Daryl, Tony, Dylan, Herbert. Oh, you got a good bench there, sir. Pittman Jr.'s been fantastic so far. I like Pittman Jr., but I can't ignore volume. So I'm going to go with Khalil Herbert here. I know. So last week, Khalil Herbert got 18 carries and Damian Williams got 16. That's 34 carries between the two running backs. I know they're playing Green Bay this weekend. They're not going to be beating up on the Raiders. So that allowed them to run the ball more. But I'm interested in Khalil Herbert getting some work as a receiver, probably racking up 15 to 16 carries minimum. And then if he gets a few catches. So I'm going to go with the volume play in Khalil Herbert there. Dallas, New England Patriots, you're starting Dak, Zeke, Lamb, Cooper. Dalton Schultz at this point has proven himself to be a top 5 potential tight end the rest of the way. And then the thing with Tony Pollard, depending on what league you play in, the scoring format, the size of the league, he's been pretty safe, like for 8 points minimum. So like if you're in a bye week pinch and you're just like, okay, I'm going to take my 7-8 points. If he scores a touchdown or pops off for a good play, like that's it. So he's kind of just this high floor PPR running back 2-3. I'm interested in the Cowboys defense and starting them or streaming them. Mac Jones, quarterback 2 for Superflex. Hunter Henry, man, he's been playing really well the last 2 weeks. I think he scored back-to-back touchdowns, about 13 or 14 points in PPR league. So I like Hunter Henry. And then Jacoby Myers is really the only guy that I feel like. What was the Damian Harris news today? I thought I saw something on Mr. Harris. Let me double check here. Here's the Zeke news real quick. It feels like he's leaning more towards maintenance and something. So I'm not too concerned. It just sounds like a rest off here. Damian Harris was upgraded to a limited. Harris, we have to watch and see. If Harris can't play, it might be Ramondre Stevenson against the Cowboys. So if you're feeling sneaky, we can maybe snag Ramondre Stevenson right now. I gotta start Pollard and Javonte. I lost Clyde and have Patterson on bye. I'm fine with that. Pollard and Javonte, especially if it's PPR league. We're gonna try to get 16 to 20 points out of those two, and if they pop off for TDs, that's where you can get the value. We're in a team Mike Williams, Jefferson, both questionable. Mike Williams today was more of a maintenance day. If you watch the game on Sunday, he left briefly. He had his knee looked at real quick. He kind of came down hard, but I think he's fine. Tomorrow we should see another limited or a full practice. We have to watch the Friday practice reports, but I'm leaning towards Mike Williams playing. Let me see if I can find the report real quick for you. He was not practicing at open portion here. He did not practice Wednesday. So it does say it's not trending in a great direction for the Chargers, but Williams is probably the kind of player who can play on a limited amount of practice snaps at this point of his career. So tomorrow, important day for Mike Williams. We'll see what he has to say about this. But if he's going to play, I'm going to try to get him in my lineups. And I just think if he plays, man, I don't want to miss out on a 30 piece. I don't want to miss on it. And I know his bad game this year was 2 points. So we'll mull this one over. I'm going to try to get him in my lineup. So if I can, otherwise Keenan Allen, man, either way, it's looking like Keenan Allen week is aligning here. But I'm still in on the Mike Williams for sure. And again, he just needs to play limited tomorrow. It's so hard to ignore these targets and these receptions. I guess just the one bad game, but he is on bye next week too. So that's interesting to note here. He'll be back healthy for some of these games. But any final questions before I get out of here for tonight? We got Thursday Night Football starting in 5-10 minutes. I'm going to go get ready for that. But man, fun game here. I hope everyone gets all of the Antonio Brown points that they need or don't need. And yeah, Jefferson did not practice. Friday's a big day. And now that we're at the critical point where bye weeks have started, we have injuries leaking into Friday with not knowing what's going to happen. So we're in the full swing of things right now. So Friday, again, I've always said Friday is the most important day to get a practice in. So we have a lot to learn tomorrow. We'll see about Tyreek, Thielen, Jefferson, Mike Williams, a couple other players here, but that's going to do it for tonight. I think I'm going to do a stream on Saturday evening, probably around 7 o'clock. So if you guys want to hang out on Saturday night, come check us out, hang out with the Fantasy Fellowship on Saturday around 7 p.m. Central Time. But good luck tonight. Enjoy the game. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.